Hey everyone, welcome to my live, or if you're watching a replay of it. So today I'm just going to be answering a few questions in a Q&A format. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you're watching the replay, just put it down in the comments and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. So yeah, if you guys have any questions of any sorts, yeah, you guys can just take it away. The replay will be on YouTube. As soon as I end the session, I'll just try to upload it. So if you guys have any questions, start putting it in. You guys can ask me privately as well. So there's always that option. Okay, everyone is joining. I'm just waving to everyone. Yeah. So forgive me if I'm looking down. Yeah. Hi. So yeah, you guys can go ahead and ask me questions. Nothing seems to be popping up yet. So yeah, I'll just let everything come in and yeah, thank you guys for coming and yeah. Okay, so uh, what causes delays in manifesting? Okay, there are a couple of things that could cause delays, right? Firstly is basically sticking on to the old story. So when you are, in the process of manifesting, right, as Neville would call it, you need to completely discard the old man, right, or the old story, and embody the new man, right, completely, right. So when you don't do this, this is one of the major reasons as to why, your manifestations may be delayed in the sense that, you are still, sticking to the old story somewhere, right. Maybe you have not, forgiven your SP, for example, for doing something, or maybe you have, still not let go of the belief that maybe you're not qualified for the job, or you still have, issues about how worthy you are and things like that, right. So letting go of the old story, that is really important. And the second thing, as I said earlier, was like, self concept, right. Like sense of worthiness, for example, comes into play. Sometimes it's more of maybe someone said something to you back in childhood, maybe your parent or someone could have said something because of an incident. You just feel like you're not prepared, or that you don't know enough and things like that. So those types of things could cause a delay in manifesting. Besides that, normally, it could be something that's very circumstance related. Maybe you're just approaching from a place of fear, and you are just having doubts. But often these doubts can find their roots, in maybe a childhood incident, or something that happens, right. So you need to basically let go of the old story completely, and also throw logic out of the window whenever you are manifesting, and and just focus on the ideal outcome. Because then what happens is, you are just focusing on that, without any sort of obstacle, right. Like when you're just like hyper focused on your goal in your mind, and just that being fulfilled, like that's what's going to manifest. So these are things that could cause a delay in our manifesting. Let me know if that's clear, otherwise I'll explain it again. Okay, I'm just scrolling up to see the questions. Okay, so Hope Nuggets asked, okay, sometimes I feel like my SP calls me when I need something and then stops when she gets it. How do I stop this behavior and thought process when she needs them? Okay, so what I would say is like, okay, so in your mind, you see your SP differently, right? Like you have inner conversations with this ideal version of your SP in your mind, and you tell them exactly how you feel, right. You tell them exactly like what you want to receive from them, and hear them agree to that, and comply to that, basically. And also revise incidents where they are calling and they're asking you like how you're doing, and and checking up on your welfare and so on, right. So revise those conversations to include those things as well, and really really emphasize that more so than them calling you for any sort of a help, if you will. And also at the same time, like like change the story behind that, right. Like don't think that you're being used or something. Like change the story behind that, that okay, that's just a cover up, that's just an excuse to talk to me, because they can't stop thinking about me, and so on. So make it all about you, and that's how I would flip it, and I would just like focus on that. And whenever SP calls, like I'll just be very neutral about it. Like I wouldn't try to paint any picture on it. I wouldn't try to put any story on it. I would just be very neutral for the time being. Like I would see it very objectively. Okay, so this is what it is right now, but because this is a temporary situation, I'm not going to put an emphasis on that per se. I'm just going to focus on my ideal realized, and I'm just going to persist in that until it shows up. And until then, as I deal with the 3D, I'm going to be very neutral about it. I'm going to come at this solely from an objective perspective. So that's how I would do it. Hi, what does it mean when you no longer want what you have been manifesting? So normally, it means that like I would see it as, okay, you are kind of detached from it, which is actually a good thing. There comes a point in your manifestation where you are like, okay, either way, I'm kind of cool with it. Like whether or not I get it, I'm good. And that's not a bad thing, because one, it shows that you're not putting things on the pedestal, and two, it shows that you are okay with like possibly the worst case scenario, and both of which are really helpful in your manifestation journey, in the sense that it doesn't like cause you to stress out over like whether or not your manifestations will happen and things like that. So I would say it's a really good thing. But to answer your question, I feel like it means that you're getting more detached from the outcome, which is a good thing in my opinion. So that's what I would say when like that's what it would mean when you're no longer want what you're manifesting, right? Sometimes it's not like 100%. Sometimes you may feel like maybe I don't want this, and maybe that feeling is not dominant, but it's showing up maybe like 30% or 40%, right? But 60% of you, or the dominant part of you, still wants your desire. So having that kind of detached feeling is is good in my opinion. Okay, I'm having a private question as well. I see what I want to manifest in my dreams. So I think dreams are very cryptic. Like dreams are very tricky to kind of interpret. Like one thing I will say about dreams is that like you can interpret the meaning in a couple of different ways. But if you are seeing what you want to experience in your 3D in your dreams, like that's actually a good sign, because that kind of shows typically like you have saturated your mind with the desired state. So that's just kind of popping up. After Sabbath, feeling is continued. Visualization considered mental work as defined by Neville. So what I would say is that definitely like once you're in the Sabbath mode, you probably don't need to do anything. You wouldn't feel like you need to do anything. So if you still feel like you want to do something, that means you're not fully there yet. Not that it's a bad thing, but that's just like where you are. Because like the way I see Sabbath is, like once you are done, you're done. Like you will not have any need to do anything again. You will never feel the need to either visualize or affirm or have any inner conversations of any sorts or anything like that, right? You have such a knowingness that and you just leave it at that, right? So that's how I view Sabbath. So I would say like anything that kind of takes you away from that, doing visualizing after that, means that you have kind of fallen out from that state, and you are still doing work to kind of get back into that. Not that it's wrong, but that's just where you stand. Okay. What about tarot readings? Does that delay destiny? Okay, so like I've already spoken about this a couple times. I even have a video on it. Basically, the way I see tarot is, I just see it as a reflection of what's going on in my mind, and or like my state of mind at that point. And people, whoever who reads the tarot at that point, is just picking my energy up, right? So that's how I see it. I see it as just a reflection of my current state of mind, or like my past state of mind up till then. But if I change that, right, like my state of mind, like the outcome that the tarot is showing will also change, right? So that's how I see it. So I don't give it like too much power, because at the end of the day, I make sure that as the creator of my reality, I'm always empowering myself, and and I'm always making sure that I'm reminding myself that okay, I am the creator of my reality, that I am the one who can alter the outcomes to make it that everything is favorable for me and so on. but I also acknowledge that they can pick up like what we are experiencing, because everyone is just pushed out, and like tarot is just one of the ways that people pick up our energy, if you will. But I don't think it delays destiny, though. If I'm being honest, like it's just just a feedback mechanism, right? So I don't think it delays our destiny. The only thing that delays our destiny is us, honestly, by thinking about the old story, or by thinking unfavorably, and so on. So yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I wasn't sure like how many of you guys would come, and yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay, so I have another question here in my private. So I'm trying to manifest my SP, but other guys and exes show up. Even the mom of my ex sent me a text, right? So when you're trying to manifest your SP, and if others seem like an obstacle, right? Like somewhere, you would have thought of that to be a potential, threat, or, that potential obstacle that's in your way of manifesting your SP, right? So like normally when you have that kind of a fear, that's when these things show up. And normally what people will do is they will focus on quote unquote like removing third party, for example, right? But the problem is like you are having such a fear that it manifests in various different ways, right? So it's a bunch of exes, and then it's the mom. So you may have an impression that in your mind, for whatever reason it may be, right? Maybe you have an impression that people are always in my way of my dreams. This could have been a childhood thing, for example, and that kind of just like prolonged into everything good that's happening in your life. And when it comes to SP, the people who could potentially be against it is like your exes, SP's exes, and the mother, or and anyone related to SP, right? So that's why it kind of manifests that way. So if I were you, I would just say that everyone is in support of our union. Everyone wants us to be a couple, and so on and so forth. So when you say everyone, includes everyone, therefore like removing any potential person that could oppose this in any way, right? So hope that helps. So I have another question. When I always test the law, I visualize, for example, a specific color of car or a sequence of number. I just visualize and forget about it. I always manifest it with this technique, but for things like a dream job or money. Okay, so I mean, here's the thing, right? Like I always say this, like the reason why you can manifest like a cup of coffee or car with ease is that there is no preconceived notion there, right? There's no set of beliefs that has like existed for you, where it says like, okay, you can't manifest a specific colored car, or you can't manifest a cup of coffee. So you don't have any preconceived notions there, you don't have any limiting beliefs there, so it becomes easy for you, right? When it comes to money or a specific person or a job or whatsoever, it's like you have beliefs there, right? Like with a job, for example, they always say like maybe you need certain qualifications to qualify for a certain job, and that has been ingrained in your mind over and over and over again. So what do? So you have that strong belief that, okay, I need this for this job, and that kind of has been your thought pattern until you heard about manifesting, and then you want to manifest it maybe without that qualification, but because you have that limiting belief, that's going to work against you that to some level, right? And you have to break that old pattern and so on, which takes time, right? But you don't have that for a cup of coffee or a specific color car or a specific sequence of number that you're trying to manifest. So that's the main difference. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible by any chance, right? Like it may take a while, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. So yeah, hope that helps. Okay. So hi Malvika. So for me, what works the fastest is when I think about something and instantly let it go. But when it comes to career and SP, I can't stop thinking about it. So should I change my approach? Absolutely, you should change your approach. Different things works for different areas of your life. That's why I always say you can't have like a universal method like for everything, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, like your limiting beliefs are different for different things of your life, right? Like different aspects of your life. This is why I always say like you have varying self concepts for different aspects of your life. So it's for this reason you need to like change your approach and tweak it, right? Like go out there and experiment with like different techniques, journal, and kind of track your progress. So that way you will know, okay, so this is where I'm at right now, but maybe I should try this approach and maybe this would work, right? Like that's what I used to do. Like I used to like try different approaches until like certain thing just clicked, and once something just clicks, and I'll just use that. So yeah, like definitely go out there and experiment. I hope that helps. Is there a balance of not caring, bracket letting go, and affirming and imaginal activities? Um, so when I let go, it's not that I don't care, right? It's not that I don't care, because there will always be a part of me that always cares. Like I won't. There's no way that if I desire something personally, like there's no way that I wouldn't care about it, right? Rather, it's more when I let go. It's more about trust in the higher self, trust in the process, basically. Like that sense of knowingness that okay, hey, like I may not know when or how, but I know that this is capable of coming to fruition if I persist in it, if I assume the best and so on. So I'm just going to, like give it up to my higher self to figure this out for me, and I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to go by my life with the knowingness that some way, somehow this will be figured out for me. So that's the way I kind of approach it. Yeah, so when I do that, like then it makes sense for me to affirm and imagine as and when needed, to just kind of give myself that boost and then just go. So it's not like okay, I'm not gonna care about it completely. And of course there will be times of the day where I'm just doing things, like just focusing on the present moment of my life and so on. But again, that doesn't mean, at least for me, it's like there's no way like I wouldn't just not care about my desires. Like at least not 100%, right? Like maybe I might have that, but like that's just for the time being, if you will. Like I wouldn't like completely not care about my desires. Yeah. How to change the approach when the obsession takes over? Okay, so when you're obsessed with something, that means you're coming from a place of fear, you're coming from a place of lack. And simply put, if you change that, everything else will kind of change. So think about why you love whatever that you're doing, or why you want to manifest whatever that you want, and come at it from a place of love. And to come from a place of love is to think loving thoughts, right? And when you come at it from that perspective, like you won't be obsessed. Obsession comes from lack, wanting to have it right now, which is just lack of patience, and maybe fear even, right? Like okay, you are fearing like okay, maybe when will this come, or what if it doesn't come, and you're thinking from the worst case scenario. So if you tweak that, like you won't have any obsession. Okay. Okay, so we have a question on Sabbath. So what do you do on your Neville Sabbath day? How to not get lost and turn negative? So Sabbath is something that takes over a couple of days to kind of get to, right? So it's a state of mind that you reach, right? Like, so what do you do on that day? You just go by your life. You're just literally going by your life with that sense of knowingness that okay, your desires are done. Like the Amazon analogy I always use, right? Like if you know that your package is coming, what are you going to do? There's no fixed manual for this. You're going to go by your life. You're going to execute your responsibilities and duties that you have to do and so on, right? And you're probably doing it with just being in the present moment of things, because you know that your desires are done, you know that the package is arriving, so there's nothing for you to do. So if you are truly in the Sabbath, like you wouldn't truly like there will not be a situation where you will get lost and turn negative potentially, because if you are in that state, that means you're not in the Sabbath, right? Like I said for the earlier question as well, like if you feel like you need to do something else after you feel like you have reached the Sabbath, that means you're not fully in it yet. So that means you're still on your way there probably, like, but you're not fully there yet, right? There will be a time when you're just feeling like okay, you don't have to do anything, and you have that deep sense of knowingness that your desires are done. Like that's when you are in the Sabbath, because like that state is very powerful, it's very empowering. And you will know when you are in the Sabbath, because you wouldn't be doubting. If you are doubting, you're probably not in it, right? So I know a lot of people are like really into like being in that state, because then it means like like our desires are coming very quickly to us and so on. But don't force yourself, like saturate your mind, right? Either through repetition, or just like ingraining it, and like just sitting down with yourself and just kind of convincing yourself that this is happening, right? Whatever it takes to convince yourself, right? Like saturate your mind with favorable thoughts as much as possible. Yeah. So someone said, I'm not able to attract my job in SP. Like, okay, so don't like affirm that. Like, of course you can attract your job in USP. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, so have that faith and keep going and trust the process as much as possible. Okay. um, Let me just wave to everyone. There's so many people. Okay, so hi, losing a parent thought can manifest it. um, I'm so sorry, I don't understand the question. Losing a parent thought can manifest it, like so what are you saying? Are you saying like you know you had a thought about losing a parent and you're afraid of it manifesting? Is that what you mean? Just let me know. Okay, I have a lot of private questions as well. Okay, I'm trying to manifest my SP who's already married, but they are not happy. It happened forcefully. um, I want to marry my SP and wish 3P a great life too, because she isn't too happy in this. So I would say just focus on imagining a happy married life with you and your SP, and everything else will kind of sort itself out. Like I always say, with 3Ps, you can always come at it from the perspective that you getting back together with your SP works out in the best possible way for everyone involved, and everyone involves 3P as well. So it'll be sorted out for them as well. So yeah. I know I look pretty. I feel like every guy likes me, but then they like my friends. Why does it happen when I think I have good self concept? What does it mean? So, this could be one of those situations where you may have a good self concept for like other areas of life, maybe maybe with career and things like that, and maybe you don't have any doubts with regards to looks as well. But maybe when it comes to the specific thing of like someone liking you or someone sustaining a relationship with you for whatever reason, maybe past thoughts or assumptions or some sort of an incident in the past, that could potentially again stem from childhood, you could have that impression that maybe no one likes me, or someone I always get picked over someone else, and that could play in many different ways. So you might want to look into that potential like past events that could have like ingrained that belief somewhere, therefore like cropping up in like different ways in your life right now. What to do when it seems like your manifestation is never coming? You keep going. You keep going until it shows up. That's it. Like don't complicate it. If it's not what you want, it's simply the middle. You just keep going. You answered my question. I've been having the feeling of not needing to do anything, but I affirm and visualize because I thought I needed to. Okay, I'm glad I answered your question. I feel like every guy's hitting on me. Why I feel like every guy's hitting on me, but then they don't end up. Okay, so I think I already answered the question. Yeah. Okay, do we need to take action to manifest? I'm manifesting weight loss. Okay, here's the thing. So with these kinds of things, okay, do you need action to manifest, right? Like, yes, but here's the thing, like you will not know that whatever actions that you are taking is leading you there, right? So when you're in the state of a person who is X amount of weight, you may be tempted to do things because you are already in that state of mind, right? But you may not know that that action is leading you to the fulfillment of your desire, or because you are in that state, you might just be just pushed to do something, and you will actually like it. There's when you are in that state of mind of a person who has lost all the weight that she wants to, and who's essentially healthy, there are things that you may feel inclined to do. So that way you can say yes, action is something that you will do. But like the thing is, it's not conscious action. Like it's happening on a very subconscious level. Like you wouldn't sometimes even know. Like when we say talk about the bridge of incidents, right? Like you will not know that whatever that you're doing is leading you to the fulfillment of your desire. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's like we don't want to have that impression that we're going to be sitting down all day and that things are just going to come to us. Like like we don't want to just sit just not doing anything, right? Just go by your life, do things, and in the process, like you will be led through a series of events that will bring you a step closer to your desire. So when you are in that state, right, so you may meet someone who could potentially be your exercise buddy, or who could encourage you to get into a weight loss program, or who could you could bump into like a fitness coach, for example. Like you never know how the bridge of incidents will go by when you are in that state. So definitely we are in the 3D world, which is dictated by actions, but like the idea is that you will not know that these events are leading you towards the fulfillment of your desire until thereafter you get your desires. I hope that makes sense. Please share something on improving health conditions. If you could specify what is it, I would definitely elaborate on it. Thank you guys for joining. As Indians, we have astrology, right? Can we manifest something beyond what's predicted? Like this is one of the things. Like I always like this is the same deal, as tarot, in my opinion, right? Like they're just reflecting our current state of mind, and if we change that, that outcome has to change as well. Like the way I see it, like I always have this rule, like okay, nothing is set in stone, not unless I say so, right? At the end of the day, I create my reality, and there's nothing above me which can dictate my life for me, right? So I always come at it from the perspective with things like astrology and tarot. I always have this thing where I say, take what resonates and leave the rest. So if something doesn't resonate with me, I don't have to accept it. If I don't accept something in my mind, it will not happen. The only time whatever like fear-based things that may potentially manifest, for example, is when I think, well, what if this becomes true, and I go with that flow of thought. That's when it's a problem, right? But other than that, like if I don't accept it, it won't happen. So at the end of the day, you are the one in power, so don't give your power away to something else on the external side of things, right? So yeah. My SP has family and financial issue, and when we just had argue last night because I always think negatively about him, it actually because the lie he done to me last year. He said he's done to me. I'm sorry. So what's your question exactly? If you could let me know. Okay, sorry. I don't have blessed from my family and friends being with him. I'm tired with this too, but I want the feeling that I had with him back. What should I do? Okay, see, here's the thing. Like, if you are not getting the blessings from your friends and family, and if he is having his own troubles and everything, um, you like sit down and ask yourself, okay, what is it that I want, and decide on that, and you just focus on, it being fulfilled. Like, you tell yourself, okay, it's done. If it's marriage you want, if it's a happy relationship you want with him, like you decide that right now, and you just focus on that, and you disregard 3D until it shows you exactly what you want. Like simple as that, right? Like so, like take a step back from the 3D and focus on your inner world. Give more life to your inner world, and when I say give more life, it's simply focus on your inner world more, focus on your imaginal scenes more, and persist in that assumption until it comes true. My SP loves me, but he said his parents won't allow, and he's very upset, and we are no contact now. What to do? So, okay, let me just wait to a few people. Okay, so when your SP loves you and whatnot, and the perceived obstacle here is, of course, his parents. Again, like as I said for one of the questions earlier as well, come at it from the perspective that everyone is in support of your union with him, and just kind of keep drilling that belief in your mind. Again, disregard 3D and what it shows, and this has to happen in your favor. So yeah, keep going. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me grab a sip of water. Okay, so thoughts and fear of losing a parent can manifest it. No, here's the thing. I always come at it from the perspective like I always have this rule that only favorable thoughts can manifest for me. And so what happens as a result is, like, even if I get a negative thought, right? What I always go back to is, well, okay, because I have that underlying rule which is only favorable thoughts can manifest for me, this won't happen. Why? Because this is not a favorable thought. So therefore it won't manifest. So I kind of just rest easy that way, because sometimes we get like weird intrusive thoughts from time to time, and it could come from anywhere, right? Like, because we are just consuming so much. There was this thing where it said like the average person now consumes more content within 24 hours than a person did in their entire lives, maybe like 100 years ago. And that's insane, right? Like, I was just kind of blown away by that like statistic, and it was like that really shows how much is going into our minds. And so there may not be a proper way to kind of regulate everything that goes into our mind. So having this kind of underlying rule for yourself that only favorable thoughts manifest for you, for example, kind of negates any effects that unfavorable thoughts may have on you. Okay, so this is a question. NoFap helps in LOA. So this is obviously catered towards the men. I would say yes. Like, just in my experience alone. Of course, there's no way to verify this, but I would definitely say that because it just puts you in a like a healthier state of mind. I would say it definitely helps you. It just kind of I would say it's one of those things that kind of serves as a catalyst, right? And like I would like definitely encourage people to be on that. And like, because just to kind of experience that state of mind, I feel like things just I feel like things just kind of rapidly manifests when you're on NoFap. And I feel like it's just because we are in that state of mind easily, like we get to like embody that state of mind with ease. So there's no obstacle. And of course when you're not practicing NoFap, you have like low energy levels, you have like low self morale and things like that, and that affects your state of mind, right? So definitely I would say it helps, but of course feel free to like let me know your experience as well. Okay, so how to manifest an SP1? Okay, I think I already answered that. Okay, working on SC and just affirming for SC and not SP affirmations anymore, but you still have that desire. So just having one thought that yes, we are together, and not repeatedly affirming for him works. It depends in the sense that, okay, like working on your self-concept with regards to him, that's fine, that's great, keep it up. With that thought of just not repeatedly affirming, what I would say is it really depends on the effectiveness of the approach. Really depends on how strong your old story is with him, right? Like if you have like strong limiting old stories, then you may want to repeat that a few more times throughout the day just to kind of break that pattern. But like if you don't have a very strong old limiting story in any way, then I think whatever you're doing is actually fine. Okay, let me just wait, everyone. Okay, let me answer a couple of private questions. What about manifesting fast money? So again, like money is a state of mind, just like health and whatnot. So if you want like fast money, like ask yourself why you want it, what your life would look like if you had it right now, and try to embody that state of mind as much as possible, and it should just quickly come in. So with money, what I would say is like build up to it. Like, okay, manifest $1, manifest maybe $10, $100, and then kind of just build up to it. I feel like it's easier to go that way. But if you can just manifest $100, just on the street, or just people giving it to you, you can go straight to that as well. But in my experience, I found that for me personally, I had to build up to it, and I just found it like much more easier, if that makes sense. Sometimes manifestation feels like stuck, nothing happening, and feels like need to giving up. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like if you feel like you need to give up, I'll say this: if you feel like there's nothing happening, that means you are checking 3D, right? You're looking for movement. But here's the thing: there's always movement. Like even if you're not seeing anything, there's always movement. So stop checking 3D. Look into your inner world, your imagination for confirmation, right? See it in your mind, and you just keep going, because that's all the confirmation you need. If you can see it in your mind, it's capable of coming to fruition, and that's all you need. So you keep going. Okay. Okay. Why not contacting SP? Are you asking why shouldn't you contact SP, or why is SP not contacting you? Okay. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Like, I know it's a Monday morning here in Asia, so I mean, I know it's sometimes quite late there as well on the other side. So, like, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Hi, what to do if the 3D SP's friend says that you are the one behind him, not him? What I would say is, ignore that. Like, if you feel like that's the case, then kind of just take a step back and like kind of put yourself on the pedestal and let him come to you instead. Take a very graceful approach with that. But if it's not true, then you don't have to accept it. Again, it's our acceptance of this, or just acknowledging this idea. Okay, what if this is true? That's what causes the spiral. So as long as you don't do that, as long as you stand your ground in your mind, that should be fine. I already answered that. AOVESH. Yeah, I already answered that. So you can. I'm not sure if you caught it. So you can actually go back to the replay later when I post it to see it. How to get a job with law of assumption? So what I would say is this: like, if you want a job, assume that you're already working there. Assume that you already have that, and you visualize yourself doing that job, or having an inner conversation with a friend or a family about like experiencing that job, what it feels like, and you just persist in that. You can just write it down, like, I'm now working as a so and so, and you feel it real in your mind, and you try to get into that state of mind of, okay, I'm working as this person right now, and if I already was, like, what would I feel like? How, like, what would my mindset be, right? So and trying to embody that right now, that would be the way to go. Why I shouldn't contact SP? It's not that you shouldn't contact SP. Like, for example, if you share a kid together, there might be reasons for you guys to contact each other, those kinds of things. So it's not like a hard and fast rule which is like, okay, no, you shouldn't contact SP. But it's more like, okay, when coaches say these kinds of things, like, it's not like people want to hold you back from like enjoying happiness in your life, right? Because if someone says that, like, especially a coach, it's because, like, they have seen it like time and time and again, like how it could potentially pan out. Therefore, like, they guide you, right? That's why they are a coach that way. So the reason why a lot of people say, like, okay, you shouldn't contact SP is because of your state of mind, right? It's probably unfavorable. So regardless of how successful you think contacting SP may turn out, because your underlying thoughts aren't favorable, it's probably going to blow back in your face. So it's ideal that you take a step back, and you just whatever you like to tell them, write it down as a letter, or have it in a conversation with them, right? And get a favorable reply from them in your mind, and just leave it at that. And that has to pan out in the 3D. So it's more about giving emphasis to your imaginal world rather than whatever you are seeing in the 3D. And yeah, so this is why we don't want to contact SP whilst we are manifesting them, because especially in the beginning, right? Because we don't know how it may turn out. And because a lot of people, what happens is, like, when they contact their SP, things may not pan out in the way they expected to. And what happens as a result is, they again, they tend to overanalyze that incident, and they kind of go into a spiral, and that becomes a cycle, right? So we want to kind of just prevent that, by taking a very graceful approach and just not even contacting SP and letting them reach out to us. Like, I always say, like, let your SP like kind of fight for you as well. Like, let them show you how much they love you, and the more you initiate contact and like do stuff for them, you're not giving them a chance to do stuff for you, and you are the star of your reality, so you have to act like it as well. You're welcome. uh okay, I miss my SP, they are in another country. Okay. We always say, right, like, circumstances don't matter, and this is just one of those instances. So what I'd say is, whatever you want, like, if you want to meet them, intend for that. If you want to move to their place, or if you want them to move to your place, intend for that, and you just keep going, right? Having a conversation with them, right? If you're missing them, like, regardless of whether or not it's a long distance or whatsoever, having a conversation with them, because I feel like that is one sure way of like getting that reassurance and just kind of feeling their presence in your mind. And that's the power of imagination, right? You can give to yourself anything and everything that you desire in your mind, and when you give it to yourself within, you will experience it on the outside as well. Okay, I'm not accepting any requests to be in my live video right now, because I'm just answering a few questions along the way. So that might come in the way of like when someone just joins. So yeah, hope you guys don't mind, because I'm getting a lot of requests of people wanting to join my live with me. So yeah, my SP move with 3P. They always posting on social media. I've been trying to manifest her, but nothing. Don't check 3D. Focus on your imaginal scenes, and you focus on yourself as well in the meantime, right? Work on yourself, work on your self concept, and you keep going until it shows up, right? Like, don't check 3D though. Like, don't check your socials, regardless of what is it, like Insta posts or stories or anything of that sort. Don't do yourself a disservice there, because every time when you see it, obviously, like, that's going to be reinforced in your mind, right? Like, especially if you're coming at it from a very vulnerable state, right? Like, because when it comes to SP, we are more, we can be very emotional about the whole thing. So you have to like kind of gather yourself and view this from a very objective standpoint. Like, view it very objectively. Okay, this is what 3D is showing me right now because of my old thoughts. I can change it. Nothing is set in stone. I'm going to focus on myself, and I'm going to persist in the assumption that SP and I are already together, and until it happens. So that's how you should come at this from. Okay, how to never be ghosted or ignored? By always saying that people always reply to you on time, that everyone, you are everyone's number one priority, and so on. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Someone asked, so I want to marry my SP. Okay, like, what's your question exactly? That, like, okay, guys, just type out your question as well after you have like asked whatever, because sometimes it's very unclear, just the way it's sometimes phrased. Could revision change my and SP's last conversation? My 3D party is our okay. Okay, so you're saying your 3P is your family distance gap year, and you are worried him seeing someone else. Okay, so you can change your last conversation with him if that's been bugging you for a bit. Definitely, and don't worry about the circumstances, right? Because that's what everything that you said, that's what they are, right? Like, family distance gap year and all that stuff, right? Like, those are circumstances, and they will only be an obstacle if you allow them to be, right? So, like, tell yourself, like, those things are irrelevant when it comes to the joyful union of you and your SP, and you just keep going. Okay, I hope that so if you guys have any questions, keep posting it. Yeah, if you guys are like don't want it to be public or something, you guys can send me privately as well. Yes, it'll be saved. It'll be posted on my YouTube. So yeah.
Hi Gautam, happy Eve National Day. Oh yeah, happy Eve National Day to all my Singaporeans. So can you elaborate more on self-concept and how to stick to having a good self-concept? So self-concept is essentially how you see yourself with regards to a specific area of your life, right? I always say this that you have different self concepts for different areas of your lives, right? And it's just our upbringing, I would say, because in some areas, whenever we excelled at something, we had a positive feedback, and that kind of became our cycle. So therefore, we think we are good at something. And then for some areas, maybe the first few experiences wasn't so ideal, and then we kind of develop this limiting belief that okay, maybe maybe I shouldn't try that because I'm not so good at it. So that's how self concept like works, right? Because we have different self concepts for different areas of our lives, and some are good because of past events and some are unfavorable potentially due to like past assumptions and past events, and that kind of goes on from our childhood. So the question is how to stick to having a good self concept. One thing is you constantly kind of evaluate yourself, like okay, where do you stand with regards to this? Like for example, money. Like okay, where do I stand with regards to money? What are my beliefs? And kind of just like evaluating, doing the kind of self assessment as to where you stand with regards to this. Do I still think it's impossible to manifest $1 million? If so, why? Or how close do I think am I with regards to manifesting $1 million, for example, and just kind of doing that, those kinds of self-assessment. What's my general outlook on money? Maybe like what's my general view on it? Do I think it's easy for me to get money? And things like that. Like ask yourself the questions, right? And kind of do a self-assessment. Sometimes it's like not having the right answers, but it's about asking the right questions. So I feel like this is one of those cases where you can just kind of sit down with yourself and just reflect on that particular topic. So I would say like take it topic by topic, maybe finance, SP, family, or self development, and kind of just like assess yourself as to where you are. And that's one way to stick to having a good self concept, like kind of just maintaining it. Why is checking social media bad? Because it reinforces your old story, probably, and especially when you're coming at it from a very vulnerable state, when you are like, let's say, just heartbroken over SP and so on. It really, really, affects like whatever that you are like manifesting, right? Like let's say you're manifesting SP and you're seeing social media, and it's showing you your old story, right? It really, really kind of comes into play where like yeah, you don't want to see it because it's like you are coming at it from a place of like okay, maybe lack and everything, and seeing social media just kind of reinforces that, and you don't want that, right? Because you're trying to manifest something new, you're trying to break the old pattern, and when you see social media, it's reinforcing the old story. After working on self concept, I got a better outlook on life. I just want my SP to come to me after thought of her talking to someone else. So I guess what you're saying is you have a better outlook on life, like, but you just want your SP to come to you after the thought of like her talking to someone else, maybe could be threatening you, I guess, possibly. Here's the thing, like, when you say I just want someone to come to me, that means you're not putting yourself on the pedestal. And that means, you have not, with regards to SP at least, your self concept isn't there yet. Because self concept is all about putting ourselves first, right? It's about how we see ourselves with regards to that area, right? So with SP, it's always about putting ourselves first, right? And if you say I just want my SP to come to me, right? And worse, if you are thinking, well, like, what if they go to someone else? That means your self concept isn't there yet. If your self concept was on point, especially with regards to SP, it should be something along the lines of I am the prize, they should be lucky to have me, and of course they are going to come to me. Well, where else are they going to go? And just gonna you're just gonna come at it from that perspective. So that means you still need to work on your self concept to some degree there. No, it's not good to know what's going on with her because you don't need to know. That's irrelevant. Because the past thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs are being manifested in the 3D right now, and that's what you're going to see. In what way is that information going to help you? Is the big question here. right? Like when you see social media, you have to ask yourself, like, in what way is that information going to help me, right? You don't have to do reconnaissance, right? For the lack of a better word, you don't need to recon, like what's going on with her. To like, how do you think it's going to help you, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, are you going to change your approach in any way? Are you going to be like, okay, you know what? They have a 3P right now, so I'm going to change my approach here. I'm going to, like work on removing 3P, for example. If you are coming at it from that perspective right now, here's the thing. That is reacting to the 3D as well, because you are going by 3D to kind of guide you as to what you want. Rather, as a conscious manifester, like how I would do it if I were in your place is, okay, just ask myself what I want, ignore 3D, and just manifest that. I'm not going to do this back and forth thing with my 3D where like, okay, 3D throws something at me and then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to change my approach to dodge that, and I'm going to, it's like, what's that game? Like, it's like playing Donkey Kong, right? Like, it's like throwing barrels and you're like just trying to jump over it, right? So that's not my approach here. Like, as conscious manifestors, that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to problem solve everything, right? Like, we want to make sure that, whatever that we want comes into our lives in the quickest, easiest way possible. And so the quickest, easiest way possible is to just accept that our desires are already realized and feel it real in our mind and persist in that assumption, regardless of what we see in the 3D, until it comes true. That's it. So keep it simple. I started to work on myself, and she did talk to me, but I got out of hand with my insecurities. That means focus on your inner world more. Don't focus on the 3D. Simple as that. Most of marriages in India are kind of set in stone. What if he's clear he doesn't want to do anything with me at all because of his family? It really bugs me that he would never choose me over them. So, okay, fair enough. I'm not like in India, like I didn't grow up there, but here's the thing, right? Like I understand what you're saying though. Like one thing I'll say is nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone. Not unless we make it so. So that's that, right? If he is clear, right, he's you pushed out. So of course he will, reflect whatever that you are thinking about him right now. So you can change that. Like, assume that he sees you as his one and only. He sees you as the prize. And as what Neville says, like, though it is false at that point, even if reason denies it, your senses deny it, it has to come true when persisted upon. So it's all about ignoring 3D, focusing on your inner world, and manifesting exactly what you want. I feel like I'm repeating that. Like, I think this is like the overarching theme for this life is disregard 3D, focus on what you want in your mind, and you persist in that until it comes true. Like, if you guys take away anything from this life, I guess it's that, because I feel like that message has been kind of like popping up without me realizing it. So yeah, just in case if anyone needs that kind of message. Yeah, when I know contact since last 1 month, that means nothing. Honestly, I would say like being in a no contact situation would probably work for you than against you, because that means you're not seeing something unfavorable in your face all the damn time. So I would say it's actually working for you rather than working against you in any way. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, I try to look at her different. So, it's like the 4 things that I always say with regards to like manifesting an SP is like how you see yourself, how you see them, how you view your overall relationship dynamic, and how you think they view you. Make sure all 4 of those things are favorable as much as possible. Yeah. How to live in the end for a long time. It's not something that you just do just for a while. You're not like, for lack of an analogy, like, okay, it's not like you are, going into the water and holding your breath, right? Living in the end is a state of mind, right? So it's like, to sustain it, to make it your natural state of mind should be your objective, right? It's not something that you just do for a brief period and then you go back into your old state. In any way, right? It's a complete shift from the old identity. So I would say, rather than thinking about prolonging it, I feel like that's not the ideal way to look at it. Rather think about it from the perspective of shifting completely into that ideal state of mind. right? So when you talk about it that way, you don't even have to worry about sustaining it. Can I manifest my SP even if he's married? Absolutely, yes. Because there are, like marriages, may not be the ideal, thing for that SP, and when you are focusing on your union with him, and then they may realize like the current partner is not the one for them, and things will happen from there. But yes, to answer your question, that's possible still. Because when I say what, sorry, because when I say want, I'm saying prefer. I prefer her to pursue me because I am the prize. Okay, because when I say, okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, I guess the gist of the question is I prefer her to pursue me because I am the prize. So here's the thing. Of course, like don't focus on them kind of pursuing you per se. Like here's the thing. Like okay, yes, you are the prize and everything. Just assume that they are lucky to have you, because for me it's like anything to kind of like imply like they're chasing you or that they are coming after you implies that we are kind of running away as well. I don't like to have a kind of like runner chaser kind of dynamic in any way, like be like chasing them or me being chased. So focus on just being in that union rather than like pursue, not pursue, and so on, because that's not our end goal. Again, the key thing is to focus on what matters. Be clear, right? It's union that you want, so you focus on union. That's what will happen. So yeah. No, it's okay. I'll upload it onto YouTube, so you have not missed anything. Okay, can you elaborate more about embodiment? Which aspect of embodiment? If you could elaborate more, because that's such a vague question. I can bring it in a number of different ways. So yeah, I've been affirming for a whole month, but I'm afraid what his wife without gets hurt. Like I'm afraid of doing anything bad with his wife too. Okay, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, with third parties, like I always had that affirmation, right? Like okay, me getting back together with this person works out in the best possible way for everyone involved, so I don't have to get affected by anything potentially. So that's how I covered it from. So you don't have to worry about getting hurt by the 3P in any way. Thank you guys for joining. So yeah, I think I've answered like most questions. So ideally I will maybe stay for like another half an hour, maybe 20 to half an hour, so 20 minutes to about 30 minutes. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just keep it coming. You guys can like send me privately as well if that's ever a concern. And yes, this will be uploaded onto YouTube. So yeah. Okay, so like embodying the version of happily married. Okay, I guess what that entails would be, it's a mindset, right? So it's more about imagining it, like, okay, what would it feel like to be happily married? Like, what would change in your life? Because there are responsibilities that comes along with, like, being happily married to someone. Essentially speaking, you have accountability to someone, right? So how would that change? What kind of fun interactions would you be having with your spouse? And just kind of thinking about it from that perspective. And what does it feel like to kind of be in a shared space with someone, and what does it feel like to kind of go through this journey of life with someone, and just kind of like thinking about that could really help you here. Hindi? No, I don't. Yeah, so okay, so what if my SP is being manifested by 3P? How can I deal? Okay, so but this stuff, let me put it to rest right now. Here's the thing: no one can, come against you in any way. No one can work against you in any way. I've already spoken about this in my free will video. So if you can go onto my channel, there's a video on USP doesn't have any free will, and basically I covered that because it's just too big of an explanation to kind of go through here. So definitely check that video out and comment it down below if you have any questions there. and I'll definitely get back to you. But the gist of the answer is that no one can, serve as an obstacle, because this is your reality, and you are going to get what you desire, basically. So yeah, if third parties, trying to manifest SP, again, it's, you are going to manifest your SP because this is your reality, right? So don't even, come at this from that perspective that, okay, what if third party is manifesting SP right now? That is not a healthy place to come from. That's like, like self-sabotaging, I would say. So don't even focus on that. Like, you are with your SP, like that's it. Like, that's all that matters. So don't complicate it for yourself than it already is. Yeah, these are really great questions though, honestly, because it really kind of shows like, okay, where the community is, and it kind of just gives me a sense as well. So I really love these questions. Hi Frankie, yeah, I just saw. Okay, I think I answered all my private questions. Let me know if I didn't answer any question, because like I'm just kind of scrolling through. So I could have missed one or two questions, but if I did, let me know, because it's just like kind of slips me at times, because I really don't know, because I'm just waving through like so many people, and like just answering so many questions. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, yeah. I don't think I left anything, not to my knowledge, but yeah, let me know if I did. Okay, so there's how to live in the end with manifesting money. So what I would say is that we are not manifesting money per se. Like, we normally we will like like we are manifesting some sort of a status, right? So that's how I come at it from. Like, with money, normally what I would do is think about an amount, and if I have it, what would I feel? What I would try to hone in on that sense of security I'd feel. I feel like that's a great way to go about it. So kind of defining that amount and asking yourself, okay, if I were to see like this much sitting in my bank right now, what would I feel? Like, what's the, like, how relieved would I be? How like secured would I feel financially? And how would that affect, like, how would it spill over into rest of my life, right? Like, how secured and chill would I be? I think just coming at it from that perspective, that could help you. So like, ask yourself those questions, and like, kind of answer those, and you will kind of get that, like, answers there, basically. Okay, like, um, what would I be doing? How relaxed would I be? What would I do for others? What would I do for myself? And asking those types of questions would kind of just give you an idea of like, okay, what's the state of mind you'd like to embody, and you simply embody that. And also, if you can like distill like that state of mind into one word, what would it be? Ask yourself that. Like, for me, normally it's like, if I'm living in the end, not just with money, with anything else, um, the word is normally relief, relaxed, right? Like those kinds of words. So, and that may vary for you. So kind of find what word would you associate the end state with, and kind of try to feel it real in your mind. And that would be, an ideal way to go. How do you manifest huge amounts of money? Say, for instance, winning Toto/40. Well, affirmations and having that living in the end feeling help in that manifesting. So how do you manifest huge amounts of money? Like, I firstly don't limit the way it comes to me. Like, for example, you mentioned Toto or 40, right? Like, I don't like limit it that way. Like, I let it come to me in any way, right? But I also add things like, okay, maybe money comes to me in the name of friendship and love, for example, or money comes to me in the most quickest, easiest way possible. And because at the same time, I also want to ensure, like, okay, if people are paying me large sums of money, I don't want to get hit by a car as well, right? Like, I was just talking about this with a couple of clients of mine. So I always come at it from like, okay, like, I'm always getting money in the name of love and friendship, for example, and things like that. But I'm also always open to like money coming to me in all possible ways. Like, I would actually sit down and like, like, encourage you to like think about like, okay, what are the possible sources that money can actually come to me? Like, just kind of list it down. Like, go wild about it. Maybe someone gives you money on the street. Maybe your friend gives you. Maybe your relatives give you. Maybe your parents give you money. Think about ways in which it can come to you, just kind of to prime your mind to be open to the idea that I can receive it from multiple sources. And so that's one way to go about it. Well, affirmations that living in the end feeling. Okay, so affirmations will definitely help you kind of break that old pattern, and like living in the end feeling will definitely help you. And the most important thing is that you sustain it regardless of what you see or you don't see in the 3D. That's the main thing. Sustaining that and maintaining that assumption regardless of what you see or you don't see. That's where like a lot of people kind of fall short. But if you can maintain that, it will definitely manifest. Yeah. How to manifest a selection in a competitive exam. I'm fearing from competition and previous history of failures. Don't fear competition because the only person to compete with is you, right? So don't even worry about others. Previous history of failures, tell yourself you're a different person right now. You're not the exact person who you were back then. You're different right now. You know better, so you can do better. So you're going to expect better, right? So come at it from that perspective. Don't associate yourself with that old identity who failed. Associate yourself with the ideal version of yourself where you are always succeeding. Okay, so what's a difference between a middle and a true desire? I feel sometimes it can be the same thing, like money. Like what I would say, okay, so for money, I know so what she's asking is, I think we also spoke about this on our FB group as well, is sometimes I like having the feeling of having money, right? Like I like that, like I like seeing $1 billion in my bank account, but I also like having other things that I could potentially buy because of my money that I have. So can it be both? Yes, it can be both, right? Like with money, like I said, having that large sums of money can be, give us that secure feeling which we may want to have. So having that, can be something that we can manifest as well. But whatever that we focus on, this is the thing, like whatever that we focus on becomes our end goal, right? You may not see it that way. Like when people are manifesting their SP and then they focus on getting a text or a call, that becomes their end desire, right? That's how, your higher self sees it, because that's what you're focused on and that's what you're going to get. So of course you can have like completely separate, where you can say, okay, I want $1 billion in my bank and I also want, maybe a jet, for example. That's what I'm going to manifest. And those are two separate things, right? To your higher self, those are two separate things. Although we as humans tend to intertwine it, for all intents and purposes, those are two separate things. That's the way I see it. I'm leaving my parents. I tried changing them while living with them, but it's too difficult to tolerate their shit and have positive outlook towards them. I'm running away. I can empathize. I know it's not the easiest situation. And here's the thing. The objective of your reality, the point of your life, is to live it to the fullest extent. And that means, not having to change everyone that comes across your life, right? Like that could also mean, for your loved ones too. So when you kind of find yourself in that spot, you give them love, right? And you kind of take a step back and you do your own thing. And that's it. Like, it is what it is. And that doesn't mean that just because you're feeling this right now, doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. So it's all right that you feel this way right now. So focus on what matters at the moment. Focus on, your ideal scenarios, and you take it from there. Yeah. I'm 22. I got my first job with a good payment to thrive in a different city at first go. They're always stopping to move out, but I am anyways. Go after it. Like I'm 23, so we are kind of in the same age. So I can empathize. It's that kind of age where you are kind of figuring out your own footing. You're kind of transitioning into that adult phase of life, and sometimes you have to carve out your own path, and that means doing things that breaks the tradition in your life, that breaks the norm, and go into this with faith and assume that everything is going to go favorable for you from here. So intend for the best and go into this boldly. Yeah, I will definitely save this, don't worry. Yeah. Fields and parents, yeah, I can feel it with parents too. Is posting on social media for my SP to see messing with the middle? Yes, it is. And so I have to live in the end state of selection. Nahi, and some tips for getting rank. Okay, some in selection, like some tips. Okay, so I have to live in this end state of selection. Okay, like I would say go straight to the end. Go straight to the end. What is it that you want? Like what is the selection going to get you to? Like I would say focus on that, and this happens automatically, right? Whatever the end state is, focus on that, or you can focus on the result day and like getting that rank, and just focus, go straight to the end. Go straight to the end, and that will really help you here. Yeah. Okay, we have a private question. I have recently launched my brand. How do I manifest the super success of my brand? Already see it as a success. Like already see it as a super successful brand right now. In your mind, that's how you envision it. You envision the scales like skyrocketing, like people interviewing you, maybe from like CNBC or like Bloomberg, for example, or like things like that, right? Like you just make it fun for yourself. Like imagine that, or like even like you going on Shark Tank, for example, right? Like in front of all the sharks and like pitching your company, and like some like golden investor just comes in and just kind of elevates your company, and like that's how you see it, right? And you can like even like the Shark Tank example, one thing I really like is there are like some entrepreneurs who will come there and like talk about sales and revenue, so you can like kind of plug in your ideal sales and ideal revenue, and them being like so impressed by it and so on, right? Just a suggestion, but like you can do it with like any types of interviews as well, so that will kind of really help you there. Yeah, so it's really like make it fun for you, again, but you approach it from the perspective that it is already a successful brand, right? Like I always tell people, like business owners, here's the thing, like you always approach your brands from the perspective that it's already a $1 billion brand, right? When you come at it from that perspective, the level of care and attention that goes into everything is like profound. Like it's super, like you will be so making sure that every single detail is on point, and that everything is like designed to succeed. And because the underlying thought is there, like whatever you do will succeed in like exponentially. Like it will go exceed your expectations in every possible way, because you are coming at it from a place of love, and you are treating it like a $1 billion brand. So of course it has to skyrocket, right? So why wouldn't it? Thank you so much for your comforting and loving words. Just write, people, nothing is worthy enough for your mental drainage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Should I manifest communication from my SP, or just simply focus on the outcome? It depends. Like, because some people, can't see the end because of maybe past events or whatnot. So they kind of have to take it, in steps. But some people, what, they are like so tired of like manifesting in steps. They are like, okay, screw this. Like, I'm going to go straight to the end. So it's more about you and like what you, prefer. It's more of a personal preference, I would say. Only you know yourself the best. So, think and act accordingly, take it from there, I would say. Yeah. I would say there are like advantages and disadvantages to both, but again, it's more of a personal preference, I would say. What to do when you have to face SP every day and it's triggering you sometimes? Okay, so what I would say is this, like, have thick skin. Like, when you come at it from that perspective, like, I know it's not the like conventional advice, but like like view it very objectively. Like have a bit of thick skin. Like, okay, go into it. Okay, this is SP, so what? Like, don't give it that meaning. Oh, I have to face my SP every day. We have this story. Like, don't play that in your mind. Go in. Okay, yes, this is my SP. So what? Like, come at it from that perspective. Like when it's more about the story that's underneath that, rather than you bumping into SP every day, because that could be a happy occasion, right? But the fact that you are making it like you have to face your SP and it's triggering you, that means that there's an old story there that you are playing in your mind. So you have to kind of stop that. Like, that's what's working against you there. Few examples of living in the end when manifesting SP. I guess we can visualize like vacations, just like a day-to-day living together. Like, what does that look like with them, and so on. So yeah, like you can look into that. You're welcome. Yeah, you said few affirmations of SP. Everyone supports our union. Can you repeat the affirmation? Okay, so this will be uploaded, but for the sake of it, I'll just say it. I guess I think I said something along the lines of everyone is in support of our union, or everyone wants is supporting the union of me and my SP, or something along those lines. So yeah, like that's what I said. But like when I upload it, you should be able to catch it as well, hopefully. Yeah. Where can I see your coaching plans? You can DM me and I'll send it to you, the price list. But everything, all the info, like plans wise, is in my highlights. So you can, look at the plans, like whatever I offer, regular coaching wise and premium coaching wise. Premium coaching is basically something that I newly launched, which is unlimited DMs and unlimited calls. So yeah. Okay, I have a private question right now. Okay, my SP apologized for cheating on me and said it was over with that girl, but they are still good friends. And even after this conversation, he's still distant after telling me that he wants to be me. Okay, so like if he's distant, like just take it as like it's the middle and keep doing whatever you're doing, because whatever that you're doing up till now seems like it's working. So take it. This is the thing, like when SP comes back, like let's say you're manifesting SP and they come back and they tell you all that you want to hear, people don't get encouraged. For some reason, they always get bummed out. But he's still this, but he's still that. Like, patience, people. Like, they are conforming. So, keep going. Like, whatever you're doing is clearly working. So, yeah, continue to go and they will, give you more favorable results. Like, don't, like, for example, if you're in no contact, right? Like, and then SP comes in and they're like, partially conformed and like they're kind of still conforming and everything, don't get bummed out. Keep doing what you're doing and they will like show up as a refined version of them down the line as well. Like have the patience, have faith that your vision in your mind is capable of coming to fruition and you keep going. Yeah. Should we reach out to our SP or should we wait for them to reach out? Like, let them come to you is what I would say. Unless, like, again, like I said, like if you have a kid together with them or if there's any sort of like a urgent circumstance that needs their attention, which most cases don't. So that's why there are exceptions, right? Like I said, the kid one, or if you guys share a house together, or if it's like property related or things like that, it's a different story. So, but if you are just going just for the purpose of contact or trying to convince them to be in a relationship, let them reach out to you. You take a step back and focus on your inner world. Yeah. Thank you for your time and your help. Means a lot that you're answering every question in detail. My pleasure. I'm glad you enjoy it. I missed some part of this live. Please post. Yes, everything will be posted onto YouTube. Don't worry. All my lives, both my past ones as well, are posted onto YouTube. I have a playlist called Insta Live Q&A. So you can go there and see all the lives and I have dated them as well. So yeah, no issues there. Thank you guys for joining. Like I was really surprised when I did this live that a lot of you actually joined, because I thought, okay, a lot of you guys will be going to work or something like that, and like the other side probably will be like going to bed or something like that. But like I'm really surprised at like the number of people who are joining, because I really thought like, okay, why do people want it like tomorrow? Like, are they even going to be up and things like that? But I'm really surprised. Like, yeah, like I literally, I kid you not, like I had to like force myself to be awake. So, yeah, I'm really surprised by, like the number of people who are coming in and, thank you for all the questions, of course. Okay, so we have another one. Already in the university, rank is decided already. No fear of exam, no competition. Precisely, yeah. That's the way I would do it, yeah. Oh, you're welcome. So, yeah, I think a lot of these questions are great because like every question that you guys ask is like not just helping you per se, because it's also helping that person who may be a little shy to ask it out loud. So you guys are helping, like those of you who are asking, you guys are helping a lot of people, because the thing is even if someone is watching a replay of it, down the line, maybe a couple of months from now, and they have that exact same issue as you did back then, they're gonna really benefit from that. How to stop hot and cold behavior? He says he's busy but he'll call me. Don't put your life on hold for them. you keep going, you keep persisting in your assumption that it's already done, like your union with them, or like that they're always calling you and things like that, and you go by your life. Don't put anything on hold for them. Don't make it everything on their schedule. But and Yeah, so you just go by your life. Don't take their words too seriously. They will be available when you're free. So if, let's say, okay, they said like, okay, they may call today or tomorrow, like don't be like waiting. Like you go by your life, you do your own thing, and make yourself the number one priority. Right? When you make yourself the number one priority, they will prioritize you as well. So yeah, don't give their words too much weight. Yeah. Okay, couldn't sleep, 3D getting to me. I understand and I can definitely empathize. Here's the thing, like whenever 3D kind of gets to you, kind of take a break. Like, go and watch a movie, do something, play a video game, or just go for a walk. Like kind of break that spontaneous, like break that kind of mundane lifestyle with something spontaneous, right? Because that's going to help you to kind of get your attention away from that 3D, right? So the idea is that we don't want to like just kind of sulk and like go into a negative spiral. So we want to kind of just remove our attention. Not everything's always as doom and gloom as it seems. Things will always change. There'll always be a way out, and you just trust yourself. Okay, and most of the time, things aren't as always as bad as they seem, because our mind just kind of hyper focuses on like the unfavorable aspects when we are just keep focusing on that, and our mind is also going to find evidence that kind of supports that assumption there. So yeah, I would say like kind of distract yourself for a bit, come back to it when you feel better, and yeah, so I hope that helps there. Or like treat yourself as well, like maybe that would help you, like go out there, get your favorite pizza or something. That's what I would do normally. If like if 3D really gets to me, I'd either like play like a couple video games or something, or like really like treat myself for some good food. This is something that I recently started doing. I'm not a foodie per se, but like that's what I normally do, right? Like I'll just get something and just kind of eat till my heart's content, and yeah, I'll just go by my life, and I feel good. And when I feel good, I know things just kind of flows for me. So yeah, that's what I do. Okay, one more thing. We need to work for whatever we are desiring, even being in the wish fulfill. But can we clear any exam without working for it, just being in the end? I would say it's the state of mind. Like for example, okay, when I went through school like last year, like what I would do is I would like, okay, do the work. I would definitely put in the work, but it's like one of those things where even if you do put in the work, sometimes you can study as hard as you want, but you can still fail. Like I've been there before. So what I would say is that like I would come at it from the perspective that okay, I know everything. I'm a like a top scoring student, and what it does is that it primes my mind to think and feel that way. So I kind of just embody that identity, and everything that happens is a result of that identity. So there's nothing for me to kind of just do per se for the sake of marks. It's just an extension. My results are an extension of who I am naturally, right? Your wealth is an extension of who you are in your mind in a natural way. So yeah, I hope that helps. So like focus on shifting into that mindset, and everything else will just kind of flow from that. Yeah, and you won't even feel like it's work when you're doing that. So yeah. A lot of people seem to have a lot of questions on exams. Yeah. Can you go 2 or 3 questions up? You missed mine. Can you like copy paste it, because there's just so many right now. So yeah. Because I'm not sure which one I missed. Like I know you thanked me there. Where can I find your coaching plans? Is that the one you're asking? Because I already answered that. I'm not sure which one I left out. Because if you're asking about the coaching thing, like I said, like you can leave it up in my you can actually DM me for more information, or you can check my highlights, so that will really help. So yeah, it's funny how you guys are like asking about uni and working hard. Here's the thing, like I always like, you put in your work, right? Like you do your due diligence and expect the best, right? Like that's it. So you just put in the work. Like sometimes like I would also put in the work, but also at the same time, like one thing that I discovered in my school life was this would happen for me very often. Like I would find shortcuts, like, and somehow I'd still get my A. So for example, there was this one time where they asked us to go to this public place to get some photographs and like write a report. And I told myself there was no way in heaven that I'm going there, wasting my time, taking a picture and then putting it in a PowerPoint slide. I was like, there's no way I'm just going for that. It's a waste of time, in my opinion at least. So I was like, okay, what can I do? And as I was thinking on my feet, like it just came to me. The idea just kind of came to me that, okay, you can just kind of use Google Street View and just kind of take a screenshot and crop it. And I kid you not, it actually worked. Not just worked, I actually got an A. And that I was like, oh wow. Like it just flows to you, right? So it doesn't have to be that you're always working hard per se. It just kind of flows to you. So yeah, when you are in that ideal state of mind, like everything just kind of flows to you. So yeah, those who says like I miss theirs as well. Like if you can post your questions again, because there's just so many. Like I don't know which ones I missed. I swear, like I tried to see everyone, but because the way the notification is done is like every time when a member joins, it shows up. Every time when someone comes in, so there's just so many things. So yeah, if you guys can just repost your questions, that would really help me. Yeah. I'm worried if my SP manifests the 3P and so does the 3P as well. What should I do? Okay, so for this, like I already said, like I'm not sure if you came in later or something. Go and look at your SP doesn't have a free will video. Like it has like thousands of views on it. View that, but the gist of it is only you have free will in your reality. So you're going to manifest whatever you desire. So yeah, you just keep going. If you really, guys, like if any of your questions are missed, like privately, like message me like what your question is, because that way, like those private questions are like I can track them easily compared to like the other questions, because like it's here in front of me, and I can just like there's not a lot of private questions for me, so I can just like kind of easily track them, if that makes sense. Gautam, I stuck at letting go, and it makes me even more anxious that I can't let go and act normal, and about my manifestation. I'm good at maintaining mental diet, but I can't let go. Letting go comes in two ways. One is you're okay with the idea of it not happening in your life to an extent. Like, okay, if it happens, great. If not, I'm good. Like that's one way of letting go. The other way is simply through saturation. So what I would recommend for you is just saturating your mind so much that until you can't believe otherwise. Like you have saturated your mind so much that you have like literally like don't feel otherwise, that that your desires have to happen. So yeah, like so you just like focus on saturating your mind. Bro, what you said, I have to work hard on it now. Like behind wishes fulfilled mindset of getting right. Like when you are in that state, you won't feel like it's hard work. You will feel like it's such an easy thing for you, right? Like that's the power of identity shift, right? Like so you don't label it as hard work. Like when you are in that state of mind, right? Like it'll just happen for you. That work is just part of who you are as a person, right? Like when I did like I said, like you put your due diligence, you do your best, right? But that doesn't mean you're working hard, right? It's not like you're pulling all-nighters. Like sometimes you can pull things off with minimal effort. So when you are in the state of mind, you will start to narrow down things and like make it easy for yourself, because that's what a top student would do probably. So that state of mind will bring you things. Yeah. Is it important to let go of your manifestations? I think about my SP all the time, all positive thoughts. I would say like if you're thinking as long as it's favorable, it should be fine. But what I would say is like have other goals to reach out for as well, like personal goals, maybe career goals, or like working on your hobbies. Maybe you want to bring your hobby side business or something on a different level. Have maybe 2 to 3 desires that you're kind of jamming on, so that you don't feel like you're putting too much emphasis on your SP all the time. Sometimes when the thought of SP comes up, sometimes phase of 3P comes in front of the phase 2, and the state shifts back and forth for a few minutes. Tell yourself it's irrelevant. Whenever your third party like kind of comes into play as you're thinking about your SP, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Whenever like third party comes into play, like tell yourself like it's irrelevant, because whatever you say becomes true. The fact that they are irrelevant also becomes true. So yeah. Is it important to let go of your manifestations? I think about my SP all the time. Okay, I think I answered that. Sorry, yeah, like I should scroll down. What to do, how to deal with the fear of uncertainty of future. Like, what if I couldn't manifest what I desire and just wasted time trying hard this long? That's a very valid fear, I would say. Like, what I would say is that when you have uncertainty, you replace it with a certainty, right? Of course, this is happening. This is a done deal, right? And yes, there's always that, like, fear, but I always kind of reassure myself. Otherwise, I'm like, no, if I can see it in my mind, it has to come to fruition. And I always assume that everything always goes favorable for me. So you can always have the underlying rule, okay, if not this, something better. So you can just trust the process that whatever is coming in store for you is going to be much better than this. So you can always have that underlying rule that kind of puts you in that ease of mind, if you will. So yeah, that's how I would deal with it if I were you. What is actually let go of desire? Is it just forgetting that we have put some thought into our desire, or let go of the negatives? Is this letting go of the need to know when, how, and just kind of embracing the idea that it's coming to us and you're just trusting the process. So that's what I would say letting go. It's like letting go of the need to know when and how, and letting go of doing something, be it in your mind or in the 3D, to make your your desire a reality, if you will. So it's just kind of letting go of all the processes, kind of just taking a hands-off approach, if you will. Yeah. So bro, that easy state, when it will come, like okay, so it will come when you are like kind of embodying the ideal state of like being like a top student, for example. So I would say like prime your mind to think and act like that top student. Smart work, you're saying, like I'm saying, like basically what I'm saying is this, like when you are in that ideal state of mind, everything will flow for you, everything will happen naturally for you, right? So you don't have to stress about anything, is what I'm saying. So we should move with a plan B as well. No, we don't have to have a plan B. But what I'm saying is like, just kind of trusting the process, basically. Like that kind of just kind of, it's like a safety net that kind of just assures you otherwise that everything is always happening favorably for you. But like what I'm saying is that like, yeah, like having that overall like that thought process where like if not there's something better, just kind of puts you at ease for that moment, right? Like it's not like you are having like that you are saying that you want to manifest something else per se. You're not having a plan B per se. That's not how I see it. I'm just telling myself like, okay, like I know some way somehow everything is serving me. So it's more of taking a very detached approach from your desires, because when you're coming at it from the perspective like, okay, what if this doesn't happen, have I wasted this time, and so on, that thought process is not helping you. And to kind of just cut it off at its root, what we are going to say to ourselves is, okay, if not, there's something better. Like everything's always happening favorable for me, so I know that if this truly doesn't happen, I know there's something better in store for me, so I'm just going to trust the process, to kind of just reassure yourself for that moment. And then when you're feeling better, you kind of just get back into that, okay, living in the end state of mind, and like telling yourself, okay, this is already a done deal. Because like it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Whenever you are facing something, and when you're telling yourself, no, okay, this is done, your mind may be like, but how, but when, and those kinds of things. To kind of just shut it off at that moment, you tell yourself, okay, if not, there's something better, like keep going, it's okay, you got this, right? So but that doesn't mean we are giving up on our dreams per se. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Irfan. Thanks, man. How's your day, Irfan? Okay, all the time I make good and lovely scenarios about my SP in my head. Is that even okay? That's fine. Even if I don't want to, my mind is just so attracted to him that I keep thinking about him. That's fine, as long as it's favorable. I think it should be fine. You just kind of go with the flow with that, and yeah. You can say I'm always a great student. I always excel at things. Things always just flows for me. I'm always lucky in life. Everything's easy for me, and so on. So yeah. Good, bro. How about you? I'm doing good, bro. Yeah. Are you in school now, or are you working at the moment? there was communication from SP before when I didn't know about manifesting, but once I started consciously manifesting, there's almost like no communication from SP. Is this normal? I think you're putting pressure on the whole thing. I think you are putting pressure on yourself with the whole situation. That could be happening, because I feel like, okay, you are like, okay, I'm starting to consciously manifest right now. Where are the results? So if you're coming at it from that perspective, that's probably one of the reasons why it's not, you're not expecting thing. But here's the thing: like, if you feel like, you're doing good routine wise and your mental diet is favorable, just trust the process and go, and it has to happen. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm answering all the questions. Hi, how are you? So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, just let me know. I intend to stay for maybe a couple more minutes before I call it, you know, the end. So yeah, because the longer the video is, it also affects the kind of the upload time as well. So yeah, I lived in the end and was confident about clearing an exam, but the opposite showed up. It's okay. Like, sometimes it's like our dominant thought manifests, so that means that it wasn't dominant. You can say you lived in the end, but if you were to kind of like tear your thoughts and kind of dissect it, you have to ask yourself, like, okay, did you truly live in the end, right? But the most important thing is, of course, you tried, and but maybe the fear was just that much more stronger, which in some cases it is, and that's why things happened the way it did. Where are you guys from? I'm curious. Like, how many of you guys are like from the Asian side of things right now, and how many guys of you are like from the West Coast or something? Because I think most people are from the West Coast or, I guess, India. But just curious. Should I keep persisting? Yeah, I would definitely say keep persisting, keep going, and it has to pan out in your favor. Yeah. Okay, a lot of India. It's probably early for you guys there. South Africa. Oh, nice. India, awesome. The US, awesome, awesome. Yeah, like most of my demographics are from those countries you guys actually mentioned. So yeah, Singapore always. Yeah, Vancouver, Canada, awesome. India, okay. So revising the past with SP, no contact for a month, but since last 4 to 5 days, getting angry and found myself arguing with him a lot. How would I let go of the pain that got? Simple. Get the apology from him. When you're mentally arguing with him, hear him say sorry. What can you do to a person who says sorry? Yes, I messed up, I'm sorry. Neutralize it. Neutralize it. Hear him say loving things to you, and yeah, quell it there. Singapore. Yeah. It's funny when my friends come. I don't know how many of my friends are here actually. But yeah. Salam from Indonesia. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Neighbors. Yeah. 9:10 a.m. in India. Oh wow. That's quite early. Uh, but it's a Monday morning, so I figured a lot of people might be at work at the moment. Which begs the question: why are people in my life? So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, just let me know. Hopefully I can end it in about 10 minutes. Yeah. They are late to work. Yeah, I probably think so too. How old are you? I'm 23 years. Yeah, 23 years young. I don't like to say how old are you, because it's like yeah. So I always say like I'm 23 years young, but yes, I'm 23. Okay, so most questions I've been seeing, just an observation, I guess, on my end is like, mostly it's like SP or, finance based and everything. But I think you guys will realize it's like, it's all the same at the end of the day. The approaches don't really vary like too much. So I just want, you guys to like, just kind of like, take that away from that. Okay, how long have you been into manifesting? Since 2016. Yeah. I kind of found out about the secret from my mom, and it just kind of went from there, I would say. Yeah. So how to find how to one find their stolen cell? I would say just feel it in your hands, that you already got it back, and like just feel it real in your mind, and just let it go, and it will come. Like when I lost my like earbuds at one point, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna let it go. I just felt it in my arm. I just closed my eyes, and then I just went by my day. And then, like, I think a couple of days later, like my friend stood up and it just kind of popped out from the seat. So I guess it was like behind the seat or for some reason, but it was so weird, right? Like we use that chair all the time, and no one felt like something funny was with the chair, and it just kind of popped out. And I was like, and he's like, okay, he goes, what is this? And he's like, I'm like, that's my earbuds. And I'm like, wait, what? So it happens in very weird ways. So yeah, you guys can just feel it in your hands, if it's a lost item, and just intend that it's already back in your arms, like it's already back with you, and that'll really help you there a lot. Yeah. Should I try to do my techniques when I'm not feeling good, or should I try to persist with them? My techniques when I'm not feeling good. I would say like just doing your technique, like maybe affirmations, for example, just kind of because whatever that you're doing, it's not for your conscious mind, it's for your subconscious mind. So I would say like definitely doing techniques there kind of helps. So yeah, I would say definitely, um, like it's on a case by case basis. So you can definitely affirm and everything if you're not feeling good about the whole thing. I have done that too. But at the same time, you can just like simply just persist that okay, everything is going favorable for me. I'm just gonna kind of let it go, and just kind of rest, and just put my mind to rest, and everything will be fine. Both approaches has its own merits. So yeah. No, it's stolen, so only persist now. Yeah, like I would say, just tell yourself it's found. Tell yourself it's found. It's in good condition. You can just write it down. My phone has been found. It's been in good condition. I'm just grateful for finding my phone, and have an inner conversation with a friend or family about finding it and so on. And I feel like that will really help you. Tell us your success stories in manifesting. There's a lot, honestly. But like I said about the stolen thing, it just kind of happened within 2 days. Some stuff happens within a week. The one thing that always happens is when I think about someone, they normally reach out to me, which I feel like is relevant for a lot of people. Like when you just come at it from that perspective that like everyone is you pushed out, and when you kind of just internalize that, like everything just kind of moves very quickly. So whenever I reach out to people these days, like be it my former clients or just to kind of see how they're doing and things like that, they always tell me like, okay, I kid you not, I've been just thinking about you. So that always happens, and I just find like more synchronicities around me, like not like angel numbers per se, but like more like my thought gets transmitted quite easily, I guess. A lot of people easily do what I want to happen in my 3D and so on. So that's something that I've been experiencing quite a bit recently. So yeah. Okay, guys, I'm ending the call live. Sorry, in about 5 minutes. So when it's 11:50, I guess I'll Singapore time. I'll just end it. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any last questions or any and I'll just end it. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your support, and this means a lot to me. I really enjoyed it. I thought I was not gonna expect a lot of traffic and whatnot, but I really saw a lot of guys, and it was really nice talking to all of you. So yeah. Okay, one more thing. When I think of a person, he/she messages quickly, and when it comes to SP, because again, same thing, right? Like it's because like okay, when it comes to manifesting a cup of coffee or a specific colored car, you don't have a preconceived notion. When you are manifesting these people, or like a call from them, also you don't have any preconceived notion. Somewhere in your mind, your SP is kind of on an elevated state, right? Your SP, is in an elevated state in your mind. They're like, okay, you give them that label, like, okay, this is SP. So they're kind of quote unquote special. Bring them down. They're just another person, right? Like, see it that way. The only reason they are special is because you like them. Like, that's why. Like, come at it from that perspective, and it would make it easier for you. Just wanted to say thanks, bro. You stopped me from spiraling. Oh, it's my pleasure. Yeah, thank you for joining, and thank you for sticking till the end. I know you joined pretty early, so yeah, Hope Nuggets, thank you so much, brother. Yeah, I appreciate you. So yeah, like when it comes to SP guys, like don't put them on a state that's kind of elevated from everyone else. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So for those of you who are just joining right now, I'm actually ending the live in like 3 minutes. But it will be uploaded onto YouTube, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. I have a playlist of all Insta lives, so yeah, keep having sessions often. We loved it. Please share it in IG. Thank you, Malvika. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'll definitely share it on YouTube. IG, I'm not sure because like it's just kind of like having it on two different platforms at the same time. Like it kind of becomes redundant. But like I definitely will post it on my YouTube for sure, and I'll post the link on my story. So yeah, you guys will definitely be able to check it out there. Any advice to stop the spiral? I would say like distract yourself with something, or go about your day, or just rest, and that will really really help you there. Yeah, thank you, your content has really helped. Thank you so much. Yeah, my pleasure. Hard work needs smart work. Yes, smart work. Yes, work smart. And yeah, because like tell yourself like your life is always easy. Make your life easy for you. And yeah, best of luck for your exams, guys. Yeah. Where was it, in exams? May I know what you do? This is what I do. I'm a full-time coach. Welcome. Yeah, thank you. Those who are just joining, it will be uploaded onto YouTube. So yeah, you guys can check it out there. And if you have any questions, drop it there. Okay, so that was a SP2. Saw him in January 2020, but he disappeared. Since then, I tried to manifest him, but still couldn't date. Just assume that he is coming into your life back, and just persist in that. And he has to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, don't put an emphasis on that in any way. So yeah, thank you so much. Wish the best for your case too. Thank you. So for those of you who are just joining, I'm going to be ending the live in about a minute, so you guys can actually find the replay on YouTube really soon. So yeah, thank you guys so much. So yeah. Okay, so guys, again, thank you so much for everything. I really enjoyed this live. It's been a while. I'll do my best to make more of it. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for this. So yeah, take care, and yeah, talk to you guys soon then. Yeah, bye.